Hey y'all, this is part 3. I had actually did the entire video and it cut off with part 2, but um, I actually did like a 14-minute video. It cut off at 6 minutes, but this is the continuation. If you haven't seen the rest of this video, please do so. It's a two-part before this, and you won't know what I'm talking about unless you stop the video and watch the first and second part, so please do so. I'm doing this because it is therapeutic for me. I'm doing this because hopefully it can change somebody's life. I'm doing this so that you all can get um, somewhat of an insight on uh, what actually is in my mind daily, and basically some of the pain that's behind the smiles that you see on Big Cuz 52 or from Kiana. So as I stated in my last video, we actually found Maurice, my daughter's father, um, floating in the harbor. And we actually had to ID him because he had killed himself. We had to ID him by the dental records. And he was a creature of habit. So we actually could not track down the dentist. But me knowing Maurice like I knew him and only like I knew him, um, I actually remembered that he kept his mold for his teeth when he got his platinum teeth put in. He kept his mold. And I still remember it was on the right hand side in a brown shoebox in his closet. And um, when his mother and I and my ex-husband was trying to find the dentist and it was closed down and all this kind of stuff, we're trying to make an ID of the body. Um, I told them to go upstairs and look in the closet, and there it goes, the mold. So we gave it to the coroner's office, downtown Baltimore, and it was a positive ID. And that was Maurice. That was Maurice floating in that water. And the body was so destroyed that they could not make an ID from any other thing other than his teeth. Well, they did the math, and we found out that the body actually had been in the water for approximately 30 days. And as you all know from looking in the other video, I had just rejected him or going back with him on May the 2nd or May the 1st. My birthday's May the 2nd. I think that the visit I did with him was May the 1st. Well, we did the math, and it was either the day after or like 2 days after my rejection from him is when he killed himself. And um, later, being able, his mother was so attached to me, and she still is, because Nene's the only grandbaby, and he had girlfriends after me, but nothing serious. He never had any other children, so he just had Nene. Um, they let me in the room, and I found letters. I found quote unquote goodbye letter, and it was me in it, and about the fact that I didn't want him back and he couldn't go on. And so that's why I carry the pain of in my head at times. Years later, I still think that, you know, in my head and in my heart, sometimes it says that, it tells me that, because of me, that he killed himself. And I know those were his words in a sense, and through his actions, because he timed it around the time where I rejected him. Years later, I'm better with prayer and also, years of healing, because this happened about 8 years ago. I, I'm a little bit better with it, and it affects me, but it doesn't affect me like it did for many years after the incident happened. And for many years, I didn't tell Nene that her father killed herself. I actually didn't tell her probably till about 3 years ago. And when I told her, she basically was like, I already knew that. And because whenever anybody would ask me that I went to school with, or because everybody knew me and Maurice as together, and when they see Nene, they can see Maurice. So, I had to tell them that, Maurice is no longer with us, and, they asked me what happened, and I tell them, just call me or whatever. I guess over the years of her seeing that so often, she has basically figured it out for herself. And, you know, it's still hard for me because I still question if I didn't reject him, because Maurice was the absolute love of my life. And it was only because of the mental illness. Now that I know that was a mental illness, it was only because of the mental illness and the roller coaster of being with somebody that has a mental illness is the only reason I did not take him back. Out of respect for my ex-husband, I did not take him back. And I questioned, well, if I knew then that I wasn't going to no longer be married later on in life to him, would I have just went ahead and taken him back? And the answer actually is probably yes. I question myself all the time. I question if he even knew that I really still loved him. I questioned if he would have been better if he had medication. I questioned what my life would have been like if I had been with him still. I questioned if I wasn't so selfish to want to talk about the money I was making from my daycare center and how I had, prospered and the income range I was in. If I hadn't been so selfish and to maybe let him talk instead of me focusing on money and material stuff and what van I was buying next. Would I question, would he still be here if I would have let him talk? I question if I would have prayed with him that night, would he have still been here? And this is why I'm the person I am today, where I don't value stuff that other people value. Because in the end, those things do not matter whatsoever. And if I could give back all the money that I've ever had, just so he could be here right now, even if I wasn't with him, I would. So when somebody says that they may be thinking about hurting themselves, you guys, please take heed, because they may do it. And not only will they never be here again, you'll walk around carrying that guilt the rest of your life. And in one way, shape, or form, it's going to come out. Either you're going to turn to eating yourself to death, you're going to drink yourself to death, drug yourself to death, sex yourself to death. It's going to come out in one way or another. It only can do that. That's all it can do, is come out. Either verbally or in other ways. So, I just wanted you guys to know a little bit about some of the pain that I've been through in my life. Some of the pain that I battle even now. And how, if it wasn't for the grace of God, if it wasn't for the grace of God, the things that I've endured would be unbearable. The song that comes to my mind is I Won't Complain. I can't. Because look what he brought me from. On that note, you guys, I hope you took something from this. And I hope we all learn. Be blessed.